Hi everyone, this is Anna. Thank you for clicking on to my YouTube channel, Anna's Take with a Twist. In this video, we're going to talk about the amazing book titled Lucky, which is also a limited TV series available on Apple TV+. The first episode is going to air on Wednesday, July 15th, and it has 7 episodes, with the last episode airing on Wednesday, August 19th. So I'm probably going to binge this series. I'm very excited about it. So Lucky was written by Marissa Stapley, and it was published on April 6th of 2021. Not only is Marissa Stapley Canadian, she also lives here in Toronto. So yes, very exciting. There's a lot more great information in this video, so please watch the video until the end. If you like today's video, please like the video. Of course, you can always leave a comment, and yes, of course, you can always subscribe. So it was a couple of weeks before Christmas of 2025. I'm like wandering around through the bookstore, and I saw this book, Lucky, and I picked it up and immediately put it in my to buy pile because I love the title. I, for the most part, feel like I'm kind of like a lucky person. I know I complain a lot. However, I'm really lucky doing that. So it's probably like a skill that I've developed. Anyway, and when I first picked up the book, I did not see the Canadian or signed by author stickers on the book, nor did I see the logo for Reese's Book Club on the book. It wasn't until I actually picked it up to read the book that I noticed those. So yes, and that was the first time I read the book. First time I read a book is for me, and then the second time I read a book is usually for a video, unless I haven't read a book for like a really, really long time, and then I just want to revisit. So since the majority of the books that I do read are nonfiction, and I am trying to get through my unread pile, I didn't even know about Marissa Stapley, so please accept my apologies for that, Marissa Stapley. Terribly sorry. You're clearly on my radar now. So it was actually only after I read the back cover that I realized she was from Toronto. So here is what I read from the back cover. Marissa Stapley is the best-selling author of The Last Resort, Things to Do When It's Raining, and Mating for Life. Her journalism has appeared in newspapers and magazines across North America. She lives in Toronto with her family. So actually, Marissa Stapley is the international best-selling author of Things to Do When It's Raining and Mating for Life. So now what the back cover does not tell us is that Marissa Stapley has written 3 books under her pen name of Julia McKay, and she has also co-written 2 other books under her pen name of Maggie Knox. And the back cover also does not tell us that Lucky, her 4th of now 6 books, was selected by Reese Witherspoon for her book club to be the book of the month for December of 2021. Or that Lucky is officially the first and still only Canadian book to be selected for Reese's Book Club. So yes, a very big deal. And the fact that Lucky was actually the 65th book in Reese's Book Club, and Lucky is the 7th book from Reese's Book Club that was actually featured and was adapted into a TV series. So there's so many things that I love about this book, and clearly I'm not alone, because not only is it in Reese's Book Club, it is also New York Times bestseller. So I think one of the things that I love, and a lot of people do, is that Lucky is an original premise, and the prologue is perfect. I mean, like in 3 pages, we learn that our protagonist, Luciana Armstrong, also known as Lucky, was abandoned as a baby on the steps of the church. And we're also introduced to the word hope, which, if I counted correctly, was mentioned in the book 24 times. So yes, so the book is actually divided into 2 parts. The first part is 186 of 232 pages, and each chapter actually has 2 parts also. So the first part of the chapter is present day, which in the book is the year 2008. And the second part is the past, beginning in September of 1992. So each chapter is actually also very short, so it's great for reading. So like most people, Lucky chose her lucky numbers from numbers that meant something to her, with the exception of the last number, which she had said in the book was her just because number. So I'm guessing that it is lucky in some way, but it's unexplained to us right now, so maybe it will come to the surface at some point. So I'm going to read you something from the back cover, so not all of the back cover, but just some parts from the back cover. Lucky Armstrong is a tough, talented grifter who has just pulled off a $1 million heist with her boyfriend, Carrie. She's ready to start a brand new life with a new identity when things go sideways. When she discovers that a lottery ticket she bought on a whim is worth millions, her elation is tempered by one big problem. Cashing in a winning ticket means she'll be arrested for her crimes. As Lucky tries to avoid capture and make a future for herself, she must confront her past by reconciling with her father, finding her mother who abandoned her when she was just a baby, and coming to terms with the man she thought she loved, whose dark past is catching up with her too. What if you had the winning ticket that would change your life forever, but you couldn't cash it in? So, like a lot of people, like I have dreamt of winning the lottery. I'm sure a lot more people have dreamt of winning the lottery. They're going to actually admit it. Now, how many of us have had to consider not being able to cash in the winning ticket, especially if the ticket's worth $390 million? So it is really interesting, like what a lottery ticket can do to and can do for people. So I'm going to read something really quick from page 121. Outside as she walked, she could feel the lottery ticket against her body, taped to the inside of her rain-damp sweatshirt. The ticket helped. It anchored her to an alternate future. And then here's something really quick from page 25. She looked down at it and breathed deep. Her fear became excitement. Something stirred inside of her that felt like hope, the kind of hope a lottery ticket held just before you checked its numbers. So in that little bit right there, we read the word hope twice. So there are 3 acronyms for hope that I know of. The first one I found on Twitter 15 years ago, and it is hold on, pain ends. And then the other 2, I just did a quick online search. So the second one is hanging on to positive expectations, and lastly, have only positive expectations. So those 2 are very similar. So since Lucky could not have the childhood that she wanted, she lived with the pain of not having any friends or cool clothes or having a stable, consistent place to live. And she also had to willingly change her identity, and her circumstances were changing all the time. So because of all that, I'm going to use the first one, which is hope, hold on, pain ends. Now, if we go on to really, really quickly, page 64, she talks about seeing something on the TV. So indeed, on 2 of the screens, Lucky could see the interior of the gas station convenience store where a man stood holding one of the big novelty checks. She squinted at the screen, but it looked like any convenience store. Still, she kept watching. Her heartbeat quickened. Did the store look familiar? Was it the Idaho store she'd been in, where she bought her lottery ticket? That was the beauty of it. That right there was the grift itself, the moment of hope, the quickening of pulse, the what if? What if it's me? What if it's my ticket? What would I do with all that money? Who would I become? Okay, well, here's the thing. We are who we are until we decide to change, and money makes us more of who we already are. So in the pages of the book Lucky, which of course I'm going to highly recommend that you read or listen to, you will learn that Lucky is always giving her money away, every chance she can get. Very much like the lottery winners that we hear about, the ones who are broke or even in a worse economic position than they were before they won the lottery. Even if they win tens or hundreds of millions of dollars, some people just can't manage their money. So here's something that I know from Ernest Hemingway that I think about quite often. And he said, people don't go broke suddenly. They go broke slowly. Meaning it's $10, $50, $100, it's $5, it's $7, it's $75. So it's all those little bits of money. Anyway, so another reason I said that we are who we are until we decide to change is because of our nervous system. So it is the ultimate command center of our body, and our nervous system is the biological engine behind all of our thoughts, memories, and our emotions. And I miss that. It was only after I read a sentence in the first paragraph of chapter 5 on page 49 that I realized that. So when I read, she had recently read about how singing and humming helped with anxiety, but it wasn't helping hers, that I went back and I found the first signs of the nervous system on the pages of 17 to 19. And when I wrote in the margin, old habits die hard. In those pages, we read about one of their cons, and being a con artist is actually indirectly tied to both the central nervous system and the automatic nervous system. So I find it really kind of interesting, the whole nervous system, because we even frequently seek out others based on our nervous system's compatibility. So like how on the bottom of page 114, Lucky thinks, there was something about that boy that was different too. She couldn't put her finger on it. He probably lived in some beautiful home in the hill with the perfect family, a mom, a dad, and plenty of siblings. But still, she felt a strange kinship to him. That was actually her nervous system that felt the strange kinship to the stranger. And we will learn that later on, like he, meaning Carrie, did not have the perfect family at all. So since there are even more examples in the book of how the nervous system rules the lives of these characters, I'm going to mention just a few more. So here's one on page 94. I know you wish that you were like other kids, but what maybe you don't realize is that what you're really wishing for is for me to be like other dads, she said, and I'm not. I don't know any life but this one. I don't know how I'd go about changing that. What sort of job could I even get? Technically, it is because Lucky's father's unwillingness to change that she must constantly, unwillingly change who she is, like her identity, her hair color, the length of her hair, her name, and like where they live, like all their circumstances. So when Lucky tells her father on page 113 that she wants to be an accountant, he says, an accountant? But you love books, you love reading, you could do anything you wanted, anything in the world. That really, it's such a... He trailed off. Boring job, boring life path. Has it ever occurred to you that boring and safe is exactly what I want? Also, I love numbers. I love their predictability. So it is almost like when things are boring, his body, his nervous system is like it's being starved or something. But then when things are like chaotic or unpredictable or uncertain, it's almost like his body, his nervous system is being fed. So much like, you know, an addict before and after they decide to get their fix, because that is the excitement, right? The fix is just the release. It's like, oh, you know, it's like when you finish doing like a task, you're like, okay, great, that's taken care of, yay. I really don't mind accounting. I actually really enjoy it. I took accounting in school. I know, boring, that's what I mean, I'm a nerd. But boring to me is actually the best kind of excitement because, you know, it's really stress-free. I mean, like doing something that's going to give you a rush, you know, I get it, like really I do. But, you know, doing something that like give you a rush that's illegal might actually stop you in your tracks, and it might even get you arrested. So having like, you know, like a clean record, you know, means that you can do whatever you want when you want, and that puts a spring in a lot of people's steps. I know it sounds boring, but you know, if you want excitement, we have action movies. If you want romance, there's romance movies. You know, if you want horror, you want to be scared, go see a horror movie. I've seen a couple this year already. I'm going to tell you right now, I was really scared. Anyway, so I guess what I'm trying to say with all this is like, you know, despite her upbringing, Lucky knew that she wanted boring. I mean, she was constantly craving stability because that is what her body, her nervous system truly understands, right? And so let's flash forward to the top of page 118. What program are you going into in SFU, he asked. Business management, accounting, she said, suddenly self-conscious of how vanilla that sounded. But he squeezed her hand. He said, I love numbers. She found herself squeezing back. You can always count on numbers, she said, then laughed. God, I'm such a nerd. Maybe I like nerds, he said. Especially beautiful and mysterious nerds. I like numbers a lot, Alanya. I like how predictable they are, when so many things in life aren't. She felt seen for the first time, and the pleasure of it made her feel like she was floating. When I read that, I felt like something that was supposed to be like so sweet, you know, and so innocent, so tender is now tarnished. I mean, here's Lucky. You know, she's been a con artist her whole life. So when she was like, I don't know, like at this point, is she like 16, 17, 18 years old? And she was raised by con artists, right? Who on page 18 said to her, under no uncertain terms, never let your guard down, ever. Not even when you're having fun, especially when you're having fun, right? So she let her guard down. And, it's because Carrie, who in this part of the book is named Alex, is saying to Lucky, who in this part of the book is named Alania, because they keep changing out their names. He said like the exact same words to Lucky that she said to her father. Like, I love numbers. I love their predictability. So I thought that was just kind of interesting because she didn't pick up on that because she was having fun, because she let her guard down. So, we're only on page 118. She said those words to her dad on page 113. So, the wording on the bottom of page 75, I found that really interesting. I found that to be a bit on the NLP side, so the neuro-linguistic programming side, if you know what I mean. I'm not going to read this out to you. However, I will read it. I will leave it up on the screen for a while. If anyone who wants to pause that, I'll leave a little bit at the top of page 76 so you know what happened. Then on page 119, we read, her life was about to change. So people often sense a shift in their lives before it happens because their subconscious mind recognizes patterns and bodily signals far faster than your conscious mind would ever do that. So that feeling that, your life is going to change is actually an intuition. And very much like the feeling or intuition that the woman on TV looked very familiar. And intuition is actually a part of your nervous system. So spoiler alert, yes, Lucky does actually meet her mother. So even though they've been separated for, at this point, 26 years, due to nature, they do share 2 mannerisms that are mentioned in the book, which I thought was kind of interesting because you would think that John, who raised Lucky, right, for 17, 18 years, due to nurture, that they would share some mannerisms, but yet they don't share any at all. So I think that's just kind of like, the flip-flopping of the book, the back and forth. It had to be written that way, really. It's actually the best way to write a book of this kind, because now we learn, about the present and the past and why things are the way that they are. But at the same time, it's like the back and forth in Lucky, right? Her like fight and her flight, which is part of her nervous system. So my intuition tells me that there is going to be more than one season for the TV series Lucky. So I don't think it's limited to one season at all. I think it's going to have 4 seasons, minimum 3. I'm going to say maximum 5, maybe 6, but I'm really thinking there's going to be at least 4 seasons for the TV series. And the reason I say that is because Marissa Stapley has written a new book, and it is titled No Such Thing as Lucky. And that is coming out for the summer of 2027. So another great summer read. So if you haven't already read Lucky, I'm going to highly recommend that you do, or listen to the audiobook. It is a great book, especially now that it has the TV series with a sequel. So that right there with the sequel makes the TV series Lucky and the book more valuable, more desirable. So I'm just going to read something, a review from the front. So, a grifter on the run who wins the lotteries, only the opening gambit of this high-fueled, twisty tale through the life of Lucky, daughter of a con artist who seemed doomed to make her father's mistakes. Will the money save her and provide her with redemption, or lead her down darker paths? You'll want to put this on your to-read list immediately. And that review was by Catherine McKenzie, USA Today, best-selling author of I'll Never Tell. So I think that's an excellent review for the book. At the same time, I picked that one because it has the word gambit in it. And for anyone who doesn't already know, Queen's Gambit was actually filmed here in Toronto. It was filmed here in Toronto for like I can't remember if it was like 7 or 10 days, but it's a very, very short period of time. Queen's Gambit, the star of that was Anya Taylor-Joy. And Anya Taylor-Joy is actually the star of the TV series Lucky, so I'm very excited about that. So thanks again for watching Anna's Take with a Twist to the very end. I greatly appreciate that. I'm going to leave a link in the description box below for the book Lucky for anyone who wants to purchase that. And yes, I do receive like a small commission from that. And yeah, thanks again for watching Anna's Take with a Twist. If you liked today's video, please like the video. Of course, you can always leave a comment. And yes, of course, you can always subscribe. Thanks again for watching Anna's Take with a Twist. And that's a wrap.